Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Buckshot Thursday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about constitutional carry, baby. And there are now 29, as of about 2:30 this afternoon, constitutional carry states now in America, which, for those that don't know, is more than half at this point, and is actually heading towards a possible convention of states pretty soon, actually, of all things. So basically, you have Louisiana that became a constitutional carry state here a few days ago to like a week ago, I think is what it was now, and then you have South Carolina become the 29th one today, is what it is, which I'm not sure with South Carolina if they were enacted immediately, like with Georgia, or if it was a situation like with Louisiana, like Ohio did, where it was we have to wait 3 months to get into place. Here's what it is, because with Louisiana, it's not going to be until Independence Day this year, July 4th, that theirs will actually be enacted into law. Is what it is then. So, which I think is kind of ridiculous, especially considering that the dude who is governor there, the new governor, Jeff Landry, legitimately came out and talked about it, and talked about how the reason that he signed it into place like he did is because of Louisiana being such a bad place right now, and specifically how they are basically in sort of deep shit, basically, is what he's saying there, with crime and everything else like that's what it is, which makes sense, logically speaking, you know. You have that idiot John Bell Edwards, who was governor there for, X amount of time is what it was. And the man did absolutely nothing for that state. He completely fucked around. He completely screwed the state over. He let crime run rampant as a Democrat, just like they all do. And then wants to sit there and blame everybody else is what it is, man. Meanwhile, you got Jeff Landry coming in there, a couple months ago now is what it is. He won. Oh no, sorry. I believe it was last year is when he won the actual governor's race, and he was enacted in January of this year is what it was then. And yeah, you got him coming here a couple months ago, and he's already getting shit done now. And what's even more ridiculous is you had not one but two different opportunities for Edwards to actually sign a constitutional carry in two different general assemblies there in Louisiana. He didn't do it, by the way. In fact, he actually got a bunch of rhinos to screw people over there is what it was. And I believe those same people, don't quote me on this, but I believe those same people who fucked him out of constitutional carry multiple times, there's what it was, got voted out in the last election cycle in that state is what it was then. And that's what needs to happen anyway, dude, with half these fucking people or more. You just need to start getting voted out left and right is what it is, man, because they're all scumbags. They are all the biggest oath-breaking pieces of shit possible. They hate this country. They hate America. They always have. They want to sit there and blame us for their own fucked up failures is what it is. It ain't right, dude. It really ain't. And it's interesting to me too, by the way, when you look at this country right now, how we have our nation currently, every single area that is run by Democrats in this nation is the worst, most crime-infested hellholes in this entire nation. And yet, meanwhile, the rural areas like where I live, with the exception of the spillover like I had a couple years ago when I got my gun stolen and stuff like that, which, by the way, was all spillover from the actual Canton area is what it was there. Because I live in a small town, to the one side of Canton is what it is there. But that's the point. It was all the fucking spillover from Canton that caused that crime to happen here, dude. It wasn't, everyday people out here doing whatever, dude. It was people that were, scumbag criminals from a fucking city is what it was then. And that's the problem right now. And people don't understand that. They want to sit there and act as if, this, that, and the other thing is like somehow connected to oh my god, it's gonna, like, it's Moms Main Action bullshit lies. It's like, oh, you pass constitutional carry, there's gonna be blood in the streets and fucking Wild Wild West and all this other stupid ass bullshit lies. And yet, meanwhile, when you actually look what happened there, no, none of that fucking happened. What you had was a decrease in crime across the board. What you had was people being able to finally carry lawfully. Most of us people that cannot afford the fucking fees and permitting bullshit associated with, you know, unconstitutional fucking permits is what it is there. Because that's the thing, right? Like, you look back into the history of Ohio. We're talking about the history of Ohio actually for a minute here. Because I found out recently, actually, I always assumed, like, because I had found out years ago that it was at least 97 that we had before we, when it was first introduced or whatever. No, it was actually earlier than that. It was around like the 94 area there, where Ohio actually had constitutional carry in some form or capacity introduced in legislations back then is what it was. Like around the same time that the assault ban was enacted in this country. So it took us almost 30 fucking years to get this stuff done, dude. That's how ridiculous it is, man. That we're having our rights rescinded like that. And it wasn't even until, like, I think 2008 or something like that is when we finally got what was known as the permitted carry. You know, having to fucking sign, you know, do fees and permits and shit like that's what it is there to carry in the state and around other states for that matter too, for that across the board. And that's unconstitutional as well, dude, because it's like, yeah, you're forcing people who are poor to give you money for, number one, some BS training that in most cases isn't going to do shit to begin with and isn't really training at all, dude. It's like legitimately, I've looked into like what is used for these permitting systems across the board right now, dude. It's legitimately, at the end of the day, a 6-hour course, at least in the state of Ohio anyway, in a classroom, and then you go on a fucking live fire range, shoot a couple mags through a gun in a 2-hour time span with other people. It's a joke, man. I've done more training myself over the last couple of years, just randomly plinking around the backyard and stuff, than I've ever seen anybody do in most of these permit fee courses and stuff like that, dude. Like, it's such a fucking joke. It really is. Now, granted, that being said, I know that there's other ones out there that are like, you know, various, what do you call them now? It's like intense, like tactical, you know, rifle or tactical shotgun or something like that is what it is there. Or even like, I've seen some recently. There was one guy talking about it here on a channel a few months ago, or I think maybe sometime last year anyway, where he was discussing tactical lever action courses. But the thing is, even those kind of courses are like $500, $600, $1,000 in some cases or more. And it's like, who has that kind of money to sit there and blow out, you know? I sure as hell don't. I'm poor as fuck, dude. And that's the thing. All these permitting systems, all they ever did was infringe on people's rights because you target the poor. You price people out of Second Amendment rights. It's like Coley Noor talked about at least a year or so ago when he was discussing the whole situation there. And he was talking about the excise tax and stuff like that on guns and whatnot, the guns and ammo and stuff is what it was there. And now you got pieces of shit like California trying to do the same fucking thing as what it is now, where they will sit there and they will put bullshit fucking taxation on top of taxation. Now you got, I forget what state it is now that's trying to pull that crap. If it's, I think it's Colorado maybe, or New York maybe. I'm not sure, one of the two. But either way, yeah, it's like a bunch of BS taxation is what it is, top taxation. And it's like, bro, like, you're actively taking something that should be cheap as hell, and you're putting a bullshit fucking excise tax on it, where you are literally attacking a constitutional protected right is what it is. Like, tell me how the fuck that's legal at all. Oh yeah, that's right, it's not. That's the entire point. It's not and never will be. But yet these oath-breaking sacks of shit are allowed to remain in power, are allowed to stay in power, and not be booted the fuck out on the spot whenever they're pushing gun control, dude. Which is what it should be anyway. Like, how the hell in 2024 is deprivation of rights under color of law not a federal felony right now, dude? It should be across the board. The fact that it's not is a slap in the face. Because if it was, even just a felony at a state level, we would legally have the ability to remove these people by force from office right now, dude. Across the board. And we should. We should have that right. Because they are openly trying to deprive our rights to defend ourselves against their criminal element. And thank God people are fighting back. Thank God you got people like Henry McMaster, like Jeff Landry, etc. in office here that are willing to take the steps and enact the legislation that will actually help this country, that will actually better their states and make them safer for the average man, the average woman, the average child. By allowing that poor mother, that poor father, that poor person to be able to legally carry in that state and not have to be fucked around with the cops is what it is, dude. Because that's another big problem too, by the way. Is these jackbooted ass thug cops out there, dude. They fucking by the way, they fucking love to fuck with your rights every chance these assholes get, man. I saw it here in Ohio back in 2022. Hell, even in 2021 for that matter, when I was spending over a year of my life fighting to get constitutional carry passed here. You had these dickhead fucking police association assholes that, by the way, have direct ties to Michael Bloomberg. I want to point that one out. Anti-gun fuckboy Michael Bloomberg. Literal fucking child molester Michael Bloomberg. Have ties to that fucking piece of shit. And are openly being like, no, you people shouldn't be allowed to have this or have that or have your ability to open and conceal carry at the same time. Legally without fucking permitting and shit. Now, granted, we already open carry legally in this state, but the whole point is it's like, yeah, it becomes a really awkward situation then because then you, and again, it's like, it was so, like, honestly, there are Ohio laws currently that are still fucking stupid as shit, honestly, dude. Like when it comes to how we have to carry rifles in our cars and stuff. You can't just carry a fucking rifle in your vehicle now. You literally have to have the shit locked into a case somehow, like either zipped into a case or some other thing like that's what it is, in one section, and then have magazines that could be loaded, by the way, in a whole other section to be legal under the state laws, what it is. Instead of me just being able to have a fucking loaded rifle behind my car seat or behind my, you know, if I have like a truck or something like that, I could have like a truck gun, have it like behind the truck somehow, and is what it is there. Just be able to pull it out real quick or whatever then. So you're actively hurting people on a bunch of different levels then because you're openly forcing them to have to load a magazine into a thing, into their gun, before they can even defend themselves versus a mob of people. You know? It's just ridiculous, dude, entirely. Although it could be worse because it used to be the way that we had before constitutional carry became law here. We had a whole other thing where it was basically having the shit locked in one place, having the ammo locked in a different place in the car and stuff like that. That was back in the day, and then it changed up a little bit where you could actually have for open carrying in a vehicle, you could actually have the gun just like in a place or whatever there. But you still have the mag out of it, is what it was, though. Like, you basically had to have the mag on your side, like, locked into a compartment somehow. Like it was like a hook and loop maneuver or something like that, I think is what they call it, or something. Or, like, some kind of fasten thing where it's, like, you know, Velcro strapped down to you or whatever the case be. So you can have, like, an empty gun, empty chamber, by the way, handgun in your center console there, just, like, standing up ways or whatever, or in your, like, you know, cup holder or whatever it is somehow. And yet, meanwhile, you have to have the mag on you someplace in a whole other device to not be able to be, like, easily accessible up until 2022. And it's like, my God, man. It's like this fucking, I swear to fucking God, the stupidity of these people that are in office that do this shit, they just need to get kicked out, man, immediately. They need to have their asses booted out of office immediately is what it is. Because they are some of the biggest oath-breaking scumbag wannabe fucking Nazi muffins ever in the state, in this country, dude. So, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Anytime anybody attacks the Second Amendment through legislation of any kind, it should be their final days in office. It should, actually shouldn't be their final days. It should be their final seconds in office, because as soon as they try to push forward that legislation that would restrict your rights, they should be arrested out of office on the fucking spot is what it is. 100% across the board. So, anyway. But, yeah, going to show the map right now. So this is what our current map looks like right now. Now that we have 29 constitutional carry states. So we have the possibility of a 30th in the next year. And it would be right here, right next to South Carolina, which is North Carolina. And that would be under a Mark Robinson governorship. For those who don't know, Mark Robinson is the current lieutenant governor of North Carolina. He's the big black dude who did that whole tirade a couple years back now is what it was. Actually, I think it was more than that. It's probably a few years now, like 4 or 5, whatever it was then. Where he was talking about the law-abiding citizens thing to some city council and being like, why is it that every time this and that, law-abiding citizens, and stuff like that is what it was. And the one thing I will give that man, and this is one thing I've talked about so many times with people, dude, if you're going to have a claim to fame like that, you're going to be your 15 seconds of fame, whatever it is, dude, fucking strike while the iron's hot and use it. Use it to run for political office at that point, which is exactly what Mark did. He did the right thing. He ran for political office on his merits like that. And shocker, because the way that North Carolina works, where you don't have to have a governor and lieutenant governor of the same party, because they're independently voted in by the people. Like, you can have a lieutenant governor that's a Democrat, you can have a governor that's a Republican, or vice versa for that matter, which is what Mark's case was there. And yeah, he was voted in by the people, with dipshit Roy Cooper somehow becoming governor there again in the last election cycle. And now that Roy's termed out, you actually have Mark winning the Republican primary here the other day, on Super Tuesday, to run for the governorship. We endorsed this man over a year ago when he announced that run, dude. I want to point that one out. We at the network, and we actually endorsed Mark Robinson back in 2023. Actually, it might have been, come think of it, might have even been the end of 2022 now I'm thinking about it, when he first announced his run for office. And we continue to back him to this day. And we will back him all the way to the governorship. Because that man needs to be governor of the state of North Carolina when it's all said and done. He is a great man. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He is exactly what that state needs to fix itself. And it's time for people to step up and do what needs to be done to get that man elected into office is what it is. End of story. So, anywho. But yeah, so basically, going back to the map for a sec here. So yeah, you had South Carolina becoming the latest, and you had Louisiana becoming the one before that. Like I said, North Carolina could potentially be that way in 2025. Virginia should be a constitutional carry state right now. The problem is it's not going to be anytime soon because of the fact you have Democrats controlling their state legislature and pushing a bunch of anti-gun shit there. Same thing with Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania should already be a constitutional carry state at this point if it wasn't for the goddamn Democrat trash and power there and them actually gerrymandering the fuck out of that state to have, like, I forget how many people in General Assembly it is now. It's like 200 something. And by the way, Pennsylvania has like 10 to 15 counties less than Ohio does in it for congressional districts. We have 88 here in Ohio. Pennsylvania has like 70 something. And yet they have like 200 something people in their fucking state house is what it is. Explain to me how the fuck that works. Oh yeah, that's right, because Democrats cheat like a motherfucker, and every time they get a chance, they will use bullshit numbers in major cities like Pittsburgh and like Philadelphia to add like 10 extra congressional districts, what it is there, dude, in those areas. And by the way, most of those congressional districts are like fucking 4 or 5 city blocks, dude, if even that many, if even that much. It's like a friggin' square, basically, is what they represent there in that state. And yet they're still in power to this day. Like, it just, it blows me away, dude. It really does. I just don't get it, man, at all. It makes no sense at all. No sense at all. So, anyway. But, yeah, that being said, though, it's a bunch of shit, dude. It really is. It's a way for them to fuck over your rights, and it's a way for them to continue to fuck over people's constitutional havings, is what it is. So I, for one, am just getting real sick of all of it, man. I have been to a point in my life where enough is enough of this shit is what it is, dude. Like, at some point we have to fight back. And if that means arresting scumbag oathbreakers out of office by force at this point, then that's what it needs to be right now, dude. Seriously. Because they're never going to leave willingly. They're going to continue to maintain power as long as they fucking can. They're going to continue to fuck with your rights as long as they fucking can. And at some point, it becomes a detriment to this country. It really, really does. And, you know, our founding fathers talked about it, man. They talked about purging government, legitimately. And my thing is, it's like, it really makes me wonder, why have we not done that yet? And the only thing I can think is because there's so many people that are willing to be the feather throwers, and there's not enough tar throwers yet. But there will be soon. There will be soon. Because I believe the more that we head towards a civil war in this country, the more that we head towards very, very bad times ahead, the more you're going to see this map be a lot redder, dude. Is what it is. And yeah, basically there's basically 3 states right now that I could actually see becoming constitutional carry states in this nation. That are actually not right now. Obviously, like I said, North Carolina is the easiest one of the 3, just because of Robinson's governorship there is what it is, or potential governorship there is what it would be. So that one's almost a given at this point. The other ones, like I said, if Pennsylvania could get their act together and basically, well, actually, I guess technically there'd be 3 others too, for that matter. If Pennsylvania could start removing all these Democrats that cheated their way into office, obviously in 2020, 2022, 2018, etc., they could be a constitutional carry state tomorrow, pretty much. Shapiro's a fucking cheater. We know he's not legally the governor of the state of Pennsylvania right now. Neither is Fetterman for being a U.S. senator, because they cheated their way into office there in midterms. Michigan's another one of these states that should be, and again, that's because of Whitmer and company literally cheating their way into office. You had so much voter fraud in that state, it's not even funny anymore, dude. And the fact that you now have Jacqueline Benson, the current cheater Secretary of State of Michigan, coming out here in the last couple of days and being like, oh, I've talked to these people and those people and these people. And what she's essentially saying is she's talked to a bunch of other Democrat Secretary of States, some of which are actually unelected people who literally, stuff ballot boxes to get back into office, what it is there, in 6 other states besides Michigan. And they're colluding right now, legitimately. They're doing like RICO Act shit, collusion, etc., to try to steal 2024 for Biden and company. So, again, high treason stuff, dude. And yet they're not being arrested out of office for this shit. Question is why? The answer is because people are fucking lazy and don't want to do their jobs. They would rather go along to get along and let this country fucking fall and be beaten over the head with a fucking bat like Negan beat Glenn to death with Lucille that time in Walking Dead. And Abraham too, for that matter. So, yeah, I believe we are being primed definitely for something right now. And I think it's only a matter of time before you start seeing things pop off in this nation to the point where it's not going to be coming back from it, dude. Like, we're going to be in a point in time in history very soon where when it's all said and done, you're going to see a new America. And I believe it's going to happen before the end of 2024. And if that be us living in a police state, or if that be us living in some kind of a weird flux situation, I don't know what it's going to be, dude. I really don't. I have no idea. I have no idea how it's going to go, how it's going to be, what it's going to be. I just know that we are in for a very bad time ahead in this country. And I think we are heading down a rabbit hole of disaster right now, where when things go south, they're going to go south so fucking quick, dude. It's going to make people's heads spin. Like, they're not going to understand how quickly our country can fall, I believe, until it actually happens right in front of their face. And that's the scary factoid of things right now. And what scares the shit out of me, honestly, is knowing that, how close we are to a fall, how close we are to, potentially the end of America as we know it, of the, constitutional republic that we grew up in many cases. And it's just sad, dude. It really is. Because it doesn't need to be. We could easily have a good functioning country. We could easily have a good functioning nation. But people just want a scumbag, dude. People just want to be a bunch of scumbags is what it is. And then when you call them out on it, and they'll just sit there and gaslight you to your fucking face is what it is. And just lie to your face. And be like, no, we never did that thing. And it's like, bullshit, you didn't, dude. I was right fucking there when you did it. I'm no rube. I mean, hell, like, fuck, man. I was watching something yesterday, and it was showing these algorithms and stuff now that they're using. And they used it there in California the other day against that Steve Garvey guy, who I guess was like an LA Dodgers player or something like that for years of his life, who's trying to go up against Schiff for the Senate seat that Feinstein held for decades. And in real time, they legitimately show votes being ripped away from Garvey and being handed to Schiff. Where it literally like shifts the two guys upside down is what it is then. And it's like, what the fuck, man? And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is how they're going to cheat here in 2024, dude. They're going to use algorithms and stuff. Because they know they don't have the votes for Biden legally is what it is. It's why you have Colorado and stuff like that who are not giving driver's licenses to illegal so they can go vote now. Same thing with New York. They've been doing that for years. California has been too, for that matter. And yet we're not actively being out in the fucking streets, like, being like, no, fuck this shit, dude. Which is what we should be doing anyway at this point, honestly. And that's actually a knock on us as good people in this country, dude. That we're not doing that kind of fucking protesting and redistrict grievances in this country. Because we should be, honestly. So, I don't know. It's just, like I said, I think it's only a matter of time before things get so bad that people aren't going to realize things are going to be as bad as they can be. And the fact of life is, when you get to that point in history, you realize very, very quickly just how quickly this country will fall and how it can fall. And it's a scary thought to think about, man. It really, really is. Because when you get to that point, there is no coming back from that. And when you realize that certain things happen in cycles and whatnot, that you can openly have someone do something evil, pure evil, and yet we're allowing them to remain in power to this day for some reason. I don't know why. It's one thing I still can't figure out. And the only thing I can think is it has to be the power grabs. It has to be people just wanting power for themselves. And that's why you have dipshits like fucking the idiotic fake-ass director of the ATF, that moron Dedabach the other day, and his dipshit buddy Chris Bort trying to fucking disassemble a Glock and failing miserably to do so, and then lying to your face about what guns actually do and this and that about guns. And then, of course, like I said the other day when we talked about that as well with Bort and stuff. So you have the reporter from CBS there, that Margaret lady, asking him the serious question of, that 3D printed revolver that he's showing there. And she's like, how long does it take to print this? And he's like, and then he just basically goes off on this weird trail end and stuff like that. And he's like, because he has no idea what it is, dude. He has absolutely no idea how long it takes him to print shit like that's what it is. The thing is, it takes anywhere from like half a day to more than a day is my guess, honestly. Just from, and again, it depends on the printer too, for that matter. Because I've seen other people do 3D printing stuff, dude, and they've even talked about it, and they were like, yeah, this took like 5-6 days to make this with the printer they had is what it was. So it could easily be something like that, honestly, where it takes like multiple days in a row to do that shit. And that's just a fucking frame, by the way. That's not like a full gun and stuff. That's you printing off a frame that you still have to do like other stuff to make functional as a firearm. So, anyway. So, the whole point is, though, is that you have people who are just lying to your face in most cases. And, of course, the way that the Bort guy shifted it was, oh, these Glock switches, these little teeny Glock switches over here, they take like 20 minutes to make. And it's like, that's not what she asked, you fucking idiot. What she asked was, hey, buddy, how long does it take you to print this 3D revolver? And it's because, again, it's them gaslighting you because they're going to try to make up some bullshit there. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to ingrain into your mind of, oh, 20 minutes this, 20 minutes that kind of thing. Because they want people, I guarantee you, at some point later this year, at one of these anti-gun hearings for something, I don't know what state it's going to be in yet. Probably Minnesota or someplace like that because they're doing a bunch of anti-gun shit up there is what it is. I guarantee you, though, there's going to be some Moms Demand Action member or some fucking Giffords person or something like that that opens their stupid fucking mouth and they're just like, oh, it takes 20 minutes to make a fucking 3D printed gun. And it's like, no, it doesn't, you lying cunt. What it takes is 20 minutes to make a Glock switch. And that's like the teeniest little Glock switch. Which, by the way, are illegal to have because you're mimicking full auto. Just having that switch alone makes you a fucking felon. If you get caught with it. And shocker, who's the ones using it? A bunch of fucking teenagers and a bunch of preteens and stuff like that in places like Chicago. Kids that can't even legally purchase a firearm in this country, period, are the ones in possession of this shit. But yet nobody wants to talk about that stuff. Why? Because it would actually prove the point that they're fucking lying to your face about things. And that's the entire point of the fact of the matter. Is they love to lie to you. So, anyway. But yeah, so basically we have 19 constitutional carry states now. So that's awesome. Or not 19, 29 constitutional carry states now. So yeah, that's really awesome. We are currently 9 away right now from having an actual convention of states for constitutional carry in this country. Like I said, do I think we're going to get to that? Unfortunately not, with who's in power currently is what it is. You would have to remove a lot of people, is what it would be right now, from cheaters like Shapiro and Whitmer, etc., to other people for that matter. So, oh, hang on, I gotta get this. Hello. Nothing much. Sorry about that. My cousin called me. He's currently trying to sell some old Daredevil comics for me that I got years ago. And they might have finally found a guy that's willing to pony up the cash or pretty close to it then that I want for him. So that's good. Hopefully that'll be something that'll happen very soon then if that be the case. And yeah, if I can get what I want out of him, I definitely will be showing off some new stuff pretty soon because I definitely 100% plan on at least buying a gun with some of that money that comes through those. So, and of course, the rest of it will just go towards future rent payments, probably would be my guess. Because I want to have something for like first and last to start out with, is what it is then. But at the same time, I definitely want to get a new carry piece, and unfortunately, you know, that takes money, obviously, which I don't have currently. And if I did have that cash from that, it'd be nice because then I could just, you know, go buy something and then go from there, basically. So anyway, but yeah, fun times though. There's a couple other stories I want to cover today, obviously, besides the constant carry stuff, but one of the biggest ones, actually, that we're going to talk about here momentarily. And sorry, I'm in the. If I seem distracted, it's because I am, because I'm literally in the middle of doing something right now that is time sensitive. Has to do with the gaming I play, and I'm trying to reset stuff, so I need to physically do a couple things here real quick, and then I will be momentarily able to be better and start actually paying more attention to the chat. Here's what it is. That's why I don't like to do these solo. That's why it'd be nice if I had Corey or somebody here with me, because they could actually be, you know, talking and I'm just doing stuff or whatever for a few minutes, and that's what it is then. And then of course I still got to get food ready to go tonight for dinner, so which I'm debating about what I want to do for that right now. I'm probably just gonna do the breakfast thing again, is what it'll be, but just takes forever to make all that stuff. That's what it is. And then as it was, fucking, I'll tell you guys what, man, I fucking hate Amazon so much right now. At least their one driver anyway that delivered stuff here today is what it was. So my sister, in her infinite wisdom, decided to have package stuff sent here today. It was basically boxes for us to have to start boxing stuff up and whatnot, which makes sense. You know, she's coming here next week, obviously. Which is most likely what we're not going to do next Buckshot Thursday next week, or Freedom Friday next week for that matter. Because she'll be here during those days, what it is. And we'll actually probably miss every single stream next week. So even Stand Your Ground Saturday is not going to be done then. We might do a special Sunday stream or something like that, just in case, whatever then. But yeah, she'll be here, and it's a situation where I'm not going to have the time to do certain things, is what it is, man. And so we'll have to basically postpone stuff for the time being, is what I do right now. But other than that, though, she was discussing some things. Here's what it was. And yeah, I was like, okay, so how'd you have these sent? And she's like, oh yeah, I told them to send them to the back door, is what it was. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, I'm hear the fucking truck come earlier today, and I'm like, okay, cool. They're putting them in the back door. Go to put my shoes on to go out the back door, and what do I hear? I hear some dumbass on the fucking front porch, and I'm like, don't you fucking tell me you put this on the front porch, asshole, when it specifically says back door on the fucking packaging. And yeah, sure enough, this fucking dickless loser puts the shit on the fucking front porch like an idiot. And so I have to go out there and move these heavy ass boxes with my fucking bad back, which almost destroyed me, actually. I was very close to fucking being on the floor again today after this. I'm probably going to go to the chiropractor tomorrow, actually, because of all this shit. And find somebody to drive me there is what it'll be. Because this fucking dumbass Amazon driver didn't do their job, because they're either illiterate as fuck or probably somebody illegal that got the fucking job, is my guess. That can't read English is what my guess would be, honestly. So, but needless to say, it pisses me off, dude, because it's like you're moving these heavy-ass fucking boxes that are legitimately the size of like a 60, 70-inch TV screen, and then trying to figure out how to get them, like, 100 feet from front door to back door, basically is what it is. And then get him into the house on top of that then, which I finally was able to do that, thankfully, but it's a fucking nightmare to get it done, man. Whereas if they had just put him outside at the back door like they fucking should have, I could have legitimately moved them from where they were at there, like 3 feet into the fucking back door, and then just slid them up the fucking thing, and then just slid them through the house is what it is then. So, but yeah, these people just need to learn how to fucking read is what it is, man, for real. So, anyway. But, what was I saying now? Oh, yeah. So, anyway. So, to go to the other stories of the day that we're going to talk about, though, after constitutional carry, here's what it is. But, yeah. To reiterate constitutional carry for a minute, though, North Carolina is for sure number 30. And then I think Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin could potentially be 31, 32, 33. And that's if you would actually get rid of their shitty governorship is what it is there, and their shitty general assemblies is what it is then. And I could see Nevada being 34 as well if they would change their general assembly as well on that one. The problem is that you still would need to have 4 other states. So unless Virginia would be able to flip, or we could flip, Rhode Island or something like that is what it would be, or something along those lines. Like, nothing's ever really going to change. We're not going to have enough never going to have enough states to have a conventional constitutional convention for constitutional carry is what it would be. So, now granted, the problem with constitutional conventions anyway is that, once you open that Pandora's box, anything and everything's on the table. That's why we've never actually had one in our lifetimes, is what it is. That's why the only time you actually had a constitutional convention in this country was during our founding fathers' time, back in the 1800s, what it was there. And even then, when they actually did get the 38 states to do a constitutional convention, they closed the fucking book almost immediately on that one, because they're like, oh yeah, everybody's like sitting and looking at each other like, we kind of want to change this, but we know if we do, like, you're going to do something else and try to change something else. So it's like, can we just shut this book and walk away now? And everybody's like, yep. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they just walked away from the whole thing. But anyway. But yeah, you got Florida Sheriff, Grady Judd there, discussing illegal aliens. And he has 21 suspected illegals among 228 arrested in human trafficking ring, where he discussed all these different people here, and a bunch of them were like chicks and stuff like that. That's what it was. And how you actually had, they called it Operation March Sadness. And he was discussing this whole thing about how you had them giving visas to illegals, specifically females, to come into this country illegally to become prostitutes. Here's what it was. And it's like, does that really surprise anybody? No, it doesn't really surprise me at all, dude. Also, we got neocon Nikki Haley finally dropped out of the race after Super Tuesday, where she failed fucking miserably and only got one state to algorithm for her ass, is what it was then, which I think was like Rhode Island or something. So, but yeah, it's just crazy stuff, man, for sure. And then on top of that, you got, speaking of illegals in this country, you finally had the House of Representatives, aka Congress, approves Laken-Riley Act mandating DHS detain criminal illegal aliens. And of course, you had that piece of shit scumbag Jerry Nadler have the audacity to come out there and be like, oh, Republicans are just using this as a political stunt. Meanwhile, this is the same fucking asshole, Numbnuts Nadler, who shit his fucking pants on camera while trying to push for gun control with other Democrats, and then wants to sit there and act like he has any fucking room to speak on anything, dude. He doesn't, by the way. He's a fucking piece of shit entirely. And we're actually going to go to that video if we can here for a couple minutes and discuss this piece of shit and why he should be out of office right now. Yeah, this is a 2-minute video right here of sack of shit Jerry Nadler at some committee hearing thing, talking about constitutional carry, talking about the Laken-Riley Act is what it was, and having the audacity to claim is an attempt to keep immigration in the news, says the bill is so that you can demonize illegal immigrants, and then claim that Republicans wanting reform after the murder is a, quote, political stunt. And as the Wall Street Apes guy said here, these people are sick. They're not people, dude. They're fucking demons. Jerry Nadler is a demonically possessed piece of shit, dude, entirely. He is a fucking demon walking around in an ugly-ass fucking meat suit is what it is. And he should have been thrown out of office the day he fucking called Antifa an idea. Actually, truthfully, he should have been thrown out of office back in 1996. 2 years after he helped pass the assault was in 1994 is what it was then. But he was one of the few Democrats that were, known powerhouses at that point that were able to survive recall attempts and survive various primaries and stuff like that. Probably most likely voter fraud back in the 90s is my guess, honestly. So, anyway. But yeah, this is what shit-stained Nadler said here is what it was.
I want to start by expressing my deepest condolences to Lake and Riley's family.
You don't give a shit about our family, you fucking cunt.
Child is something no parent should have to go through. The alleged perpetrator.
Yeah, and yet you let it happen because you allowed fucking criminal illegals in this country, you fucking penguin-looking piece of shit, fat fuck.
To be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. By all accounts, Lakin was a kind and gentle soul, beloved by everyone around her. May her memory be a blessing. Unfortunately, instead of coming together to express our sorrow for Lakin's tragic loss, the majority appears to be exploiting her death for yet another partisan political stunt.
No, that would be you, Nadler, who have exploited everybody's deaths, including every single child that you helped personally murder, you fucking cunt. After pieces of shit like you, Jerry, helped pass the gun-free school zones act in 1990 and never done a damn thing to repeal it in the last 34 years, which has led directly to every single massacre of every single school shooting in this country in the past 3.5 decades. And on top of that, has also led to every other massacre and every other gun-free zone in this country that's not a school. So fuck you, old man. Like, this is why we need to be able to fight politicians, dude. I would love to personally go one-on-one with Nadler at this point, dude, and just knock his fucking candy ass out right now, honestly.
Rather than approaching this tragic event in a thoughtful manner, Republicans appear to have just thrown together language from existing unrelated bills that target and scapegoat immigrants to score cheap political points in an election year, while doing nothing.
You notice how he's so fucking senile that he can't even, remember shit he has to read off a fucking paper?
To address the situation at the border. This approach is fundamentally unserious. At base, this bill is a rinse and repeat of the majority's unserious attempt to keep immigration in the news.
Jesus
Pick a
fucking
crime,
Christ, dude.
paste it into a template bill with sweeping, unrealistic immigration consequences. Then, require detention and deportation of certain immigrants merely accused of committing such a crime. No due process required.
Oh, you mean like how Democrats try to push red flag laws to target American citizens constitutionally? God-given rights, something every single one of you fucking cunts, including you, Nadler, swore an oath to uphold every single time you've taken an oath of office in the past 30-something years, you fucknut? You mean like that? Oh, we're not going to talk about that, are we, Jerry? No, we're not, because you're a fucking piece of shit, political hack, fucking old-ass bitch who should have been tossed out of office over fucking 25 years ago at this point. Just like that old bitch Marcy Kaptur, who's been sitting in power for the state of Ohio for over 40 fucking years, longer than I've been alive. That old bitch was first elected in 1983, 2 years before I was born, and has been in Congress since then. And it's not like she wasn't in political power before that, dude. I believe she was a state rep back in the 70s or 80s in the state, too, as well, for that matter. The problem is career politicians. We need to stop having them, dude. There needs to be a 10-year maximum across the board, period. Doesn't matter if it's a state rep, a state senator's office, a fucking federal congressman, a federal senator, whatever the case be. You get 10 years of political power, and then you get the fuck out forever. And during that time, we should have and I know NEA's talked about this ad nauseum a few times, and yes, every couple of years, we should have reviews of these fucking people. Oh, you haven't done your job like we actually had, that you actually promised to do? Then guess what, motherfucker? You're gone completely then. You're out of office in the next election cycle. That's how it needs to be right now.
Also, that you can demonize immigrants and sound tough without actually making this country safer. The legislation before us today would subject to mandatory detention any undocumented immigrants merely
They're illegal aliens, asshole. They're not undocumented.
Theft, larceny, or shoplifting, along with those who are convicted or who admit to committing such acts. Let's think about that. Someone who is arrested, who was never charged with a crime, is now going to be subject to mandatory immigration detention? The case of Blake and Riley is a tragedy, but as is often said, hard cases make bad law.
Oh, you mean like how you fuckers literally used murdered fucking children in Texas to pass your fucking bullshit in 2022 after Uvalde, you fucking asshole? How you sat there and pulled on people's heartstrings where you told the fucking cops to wait over an hour and let this piece of shit stand in a fucking room and blow kids' fucking brains out so you could push for gun control. Fuck you, Jerry Nadler, you fucking cunt. It really is time to just fight these fucking people, man. I mean that seriously. Like, Nadler is one of many. And he's just getting his ass beat in the streets at this point, man. Like, enough is enough of this fucking shit, man. And of course, people were saying term limits. It's not even term limits, dude. It's automatic disqualification from office at this point. It's literally yanking these fucking cocksuckers out by force in fucking handcuffs and charging them with every fucking felony they've ever committed in office for the past 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, however long they've been there is what it is then. Because you know some of these people are fucking child molesters, dude. Would it really surprise anyone if Jerry Nadler was actively raping kids right now? Because it sure as shit wouldn't surprise me at all, dude. And it's literally as simple as that, really. Moving on to another story of the day, we got this one I thought was pretty interesting. I found this on Breitbart earlier. It was police. Texas woman makes, quote, fake sports drink for son's school bully. Student ends up hospitalized. This woman looks pretty demonically evil, honestly, dude. Just like Nadler and all these other people do. Yeah, so Texas mother has been charged after admitting that she mixed a drink for her son to give to another child at school, resulting in him going to the hospital. Jennifer Rossi, 45, was arrested after a student at Legacy Traditional School, Amarella Ranch, fell sick after being given a drink by the classmate during PE. Says the drink provided was found to contain a mixture of lemon, salt, and vinegar inside a sports drink bottle. So explaining that the child who consumed it began experiencing nausea and a headache. Huh. I feel like there had to be something else in there too, man, because I don't really think that would do anything. Like, that seems, because I know my uncle before, because he was actually talking about what he used to do. He would like mix up with drink stuff, and it was like apple cider vinegar and I forget what else is in it. It's like apple cider vinegar and like lemon or lime or something like that, and like something else, and it's like mixed together in a drink or whatever. And you drink a glass of that is what it is then, and you should be good to go. And it's supposed to like cure all, basically. And he's been doing that for decades, and he hasn't really been sick at all in that time. So he drinks a glass of that every single day is what it is. So anyway, anyways, upon further investigation, sheriff's office determined that Rossi intentionally mixed the contents of the drink to allegedly prevent her son's drink from being stolen at school by other students. Huh, interesting. So while the drink's contents are non-toxic, the child who was kept in the hospital for additional monitoring. The mother told investigators that she only did it to stop the bullies at her son's school after her son's drink was apparently stolen the day before. In an affidavit to the local affiliate, said Rossi also claimed to be a nurse and said she knew the drink was not toxic. Said she had been charged with injury to a child causing bodily injury and booked into jail, the sheriff's office announced. So, I don't know. I feel like there's a better way to go about it than that, man. The real problem is, it's like, yeah, if somebody's stealing your kid's drink, tell them to punch that kid in the fucking face and take it back or something, dude. Seriously. Like, that's how you confront bullies, man. You beat their asses is what it is, for real. So. Then, of course, we got a fake president using other fake presidents for some fake-ass State of the Union address later tonight, which I'm not planning on watching at all, because fuck Biden. He's a fake-ass president in this country. Yeah, you got fake President Biden gets State of the Union pep talk from former Hollywood presidents Morgan Freeman, Michael Douglas, and more. What a joke. So literally the fakest president in U.S. history having fucking fake presidents from TV shows tell them what to say. Like, good God, man. What a bunch of fucking retardation. Tell you what, this country really is a fucking joke anymore, dude. Oh, this was actually a pretty good one then. So for those who haven't heard right now, Charles Barkley's out there talking shit about Trump supporters again, and basically doubled down. Initially, he was saying if people wore like some T-shirt, that he would like try to punch him in the face or whatever. Which, by the way, he'd get his ass kicked in response to that one. What happened in every single situation there. But yeah, he's got double down saying if you are a black person wearing a Trump mugshot, you're a freaking idiot. And then also talked about how they have to wear like other Trump like shoes and stuff too for him to like confront them and try to clock them is what it is then. Mind you, this idiot's entire fucking claim to fame is the fact that he was able to throw a ball through a hoop real good back in the late 80s, early 90s time period there. Like, why do we give a fuck what Charles Barkley has to say or what he thinks? Oh, yeah, that's right. We shouldn't and we don't. He's the real fucking idiot, dude. He's a complete fucking moron. But yet he's supposed to be one of these so-called black leaders and stuff like that now. It's just so retarded, man. It really is. It's like the same thing with all those other idiots that claim to be like the black leadership of the black communities these days, dude. And it's like that they're the biggest fake civil rights leaders ever, dude. Like they want to act like they're Martin Luther King Jr. and stuff like that, or Malcolm X, or whatever the case be. And it's like, bro, you ain't nothing. You are nothing compared to those people. You're a fucking joke. You're an idiot. You're a moron. All you are is grifting your own communities to fuck people over is what it is there. So, anyway, going to Gateway Pundit here talking more about that Grady Judd story. Says Sheriff Grady Judd reveals how U.S. federal government provides unlimited plane tickets to illegals for free to any destination in the U.S. and traffics women in sex trade that same way. And then, of course, we got this one. Revealed CCTV footage shows Kamala Harris exiting U.S. Capitol at 11:21 a.m. on January 6th. DOJ later lied and said she was in the building during the riot and used it as a lie to prosecute hundreds of Trump supporters. That right there is why we have political prisoners in this country, dude. And exactly why every single person that was arrested under that bullshit needs to be fucking freed immediately and needs to be able to sue the shit out of the federal government for a fuck ton of money and specifically name Harris and Biden both in those fucking lawsuits to take their asses for every goddamn penny they have right now. Anyway, continuing on here, we got jury convicts Portland woman on biased crime for misgendering individual in woman's bathroom. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Oh my God. We really are fucked right now, dude. Yes, this woman has been convicted in Portland, Oregon jury of criminal harassment and a hate crime after she misgendered and confronted a trans person using the woman's shitter is what it is. Fucking ridiculous, dude. What a bunch of fucking crap, dude. We got Democrats worried about Biden's State of the Union address. Fear mistakes will wreck everything. We are all nervous. So fucking dumb, dude. That was a good one. We got video here of United Airlines plane makes emergency landing after tire falls off during takeoff. Biden's America, baby. Biden's America. Here's my problem with this right now. How the fuck was this cocksucker Bob Mendez even allowed to think about seeking re-election, bro? Like, the dude should already be in prison right now. Why the fuck is he still walking free? For that same vein of things, why the fuck is Tiffany Henyard still walking free when that fucking piece of shit cunt legitimately came out the other day? You had the entire fucking city council go after her and talk about investigating her for the crime she's committed right now and embezzlement and shit like that, dude. And what the fuck does she do as the fake-ass mayor of that town now? Embattled Superman, Tiffany Henyard, vetoes investigation into her spending habits. Sorry, bitch. You don't have that fucking authority. Go fuck yourself. This is what pisses me off, by the way, with this entire community right now. That entire city council should be ghetto stomping her ass in the fucking ground right now, dude. You should have already seen videos come out of them yanking that fucking fake-ass weave off her fucking head when they're yanking her ass out of the fucking room by her hair and then chucking her out the fucking doors what it is then. Like, that's the problem, dude. These people need to start beating some ass at this point, honestly. For real, with this bitch. And the fact that you have the fucking feds investigating her ass, but yeah, they haven't arrested her at all yet. And it's like, bro, like, there's obviously paper trails all over the fucking place that she's done this stuff. Like, slap the fucking cuffs on and then simply charge her in the next 72 hours is what it is then. Put her under 72-hour detainment and then charge her within the 72-hour window is what it is then. With the first thing and then start charging with other shit after the fact is what it is then, bro. Like, Jesus Christ. Seriously. It's fucking pathetic. There's another one that's kind of interesting. Actually, I'm going to go back to the story headlines there. We got, as of 2 p.m. today, Trump ICE Director Tom Human testifies at House Judiciary hearing on presidential power to secure the border after Biden admits to secretly flying 320,000 illegals in the United States in the last couple of years. How the fuck is that not high treason, by the way? Why is Biden still walking free to this day, man? The guy has openly committed high treason in this country at least 50 different times we know about. Probably more like 150, honestly, at this point. Or even closer to like the high hundreds to low thousands for that matter, dude. Like almost every time he opens his fucking mouth, he's committing high treason in some way, shape, or form then. Like, it blows my mind, honestly, man. Oh, yeah. Sure, that's going to be the official narrative now. Utility companies' power lines ignited massive Texas wildfires, claim officials. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't a DEW at all. Not the direct energy weapon somebody saw flying down there and fucking doing green laser shit at the fucking ground, dude. No, it was fucking utility lines. Yeah, sure it was. Sure. And you got dumb cunt Kamala talking about democracy when we're a constitutional republic, you fucking stupid whore. You literally swore an oath to office on the Constitution, you dumb bitch. For fuck's sakes. See, then we got FBI office in Miami launches urgent manhunt for Iranian intel officer accused of plotting assassination of several Trump-era officials. Oh, shocker. Oh, shocker, man. Exactly what I said was going to happen is happening now. Which is Democrats doing fucking assassination attempts on people, dude. Because they always do that shit, dude. Like I said, everything's on the fucking table right now at this point. They're going to try to kill Trump before year's end, dude, so he can't be the fucking nominee is what it is. Mark my words on that one. Democrats will try to assassinate Donald Trump this year. And then probably some of their own, for that matter, just to make it look like they're not the ones targeting Trump is what it is then. So, yeah, let's see. Then we got far left activist group paying public high schoolers in California to become social justice warriors. How the fuck is that even legal? Again, it's not. Highly illegal, dude. Let's see what else we got here. The majority of American voters believe CIA, FBI are seeking to control outcome of 2024 election because, of course, they fucking are. This one I thought was pretty interesting, too. I heard about this earlier. Rhino, Texas House Speaker Dade Fillon, I think that's pronounced the guy's name, in major election trouble after Trump backed opponent forces a runoff. Brandon Herrera also forced a runoff there in Texas with the guy he's running against for Congress right now, because neither one of those guys all got 50% either, for that matter. Neither did Dade or this other guy. But the fucked up thing is, right, like when you actually read the story, though, you got the opponent here, this David Convoy guy, got 46% of the vote. Meanwhile, Dade's ass only got 42% of the vote. Like that, if that was here in Ohio, dude, you would already have Dave Convoy becoming the new person then. But this is the problem with places like Texas or other states that require a 50% threshold thing, because Dave should have been there already, dude, is what it is. He should already been the guy. Or sorry, not Dave. David Convoy should have been the guy, is what I'm talking about there. Sorry, mine's a little bit. I didn't sleep well last night. I haven't been sleeping well the last couple of days, actually. But yeah, it says Convoy is the former chairman of the Orange County Republican Party. He has the support of Attorney General Ken Paxton, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller, and President Donald J. Trump. Makes sense. Said, quote, "This has been a disastrous night for Dade Fillon." Dan Patrick added, according to New York Times, said, "We're a conservative state, a crimson red state, and we always will be." Not with all the illegals in your state, dude, and it's becoming purpler and purpler every single day, bro. So, yeah, not really that much of a red state, dog. So, let's see, then we got Northern Tuskers. Scientists one colossal step closer to de-extinction of the woolly mammoth. Please, God, stop fucking around with historical shit, dude. Stop trying to make dinosaurs a thing again. Stop fucking with science, people. Seriously. If you want to do something, use your scientific skills to cure cancers and stuff, dude, or something else for that matter, or any kind of other disease for that matter. Stop fucking trying to bring back extinct species that could potentially kill us all, man. Now, granted, that being said, I wouldn't mind hunting a woolly mammoth and trying like some woolly mammoth meat for that matter. That would taste pretty good, actually, I think, probably. Although I'm sure it probably tastes similar to elephant for that matter, though. So, you know. I wouldn't mind having an elephant burger or something in my life. I think it'd be pretty cool, actually. I feel like, because I know with like gators and stuff like that, like it's all like the jelly roll of the tail and stuff like that, where it like swooshes around and stuff, is like supposed to be the most tender or whatever. Which kind of makes me wonder if like an elephant's ears are the most tender part, because they always like flap and shit. Although I'm sure it's a lot of cartilage would be my guess, so it's not really a lot of meat there. But yeah. I say that obviously I'm making a joke on that one, because we do have what's called elephant ears here at different fairs and festivals in the state, where it's just a giant piece of fried dough with sugar and cinnamon on top of it. I think it's called other things in other states, but that's what they call it here in Ohio. This one's pretty interesting too. We got Democrat DA denied ability to vote after someone had cast ballot using her name. Oh, wow. Elections have consequences. Bringing illegals into this country to steal people's identities has consequences, you dumb bitch. Including them stealing your fucking name to vote in your place. So, anyway. And of course, we got more election fuckery on that one there too. So, yep. It's a bunch of shit, man. All the way across the board right now. And I'm frankly fucking sick and tired of all of it, man. It's time for us to just have it out already and be done with it, man. For real. Oh, actually, a couple other things I want to talk about here. Of course, because we're going to talk about Mark Robinson for a minute as well. And then we'll talk about the Rust shooting as well on that one, because that came up in the news the other day. So we got liberal activist media already trying to smear conservative North Carolina governor candidate Mark Robinson, because of course they are, dude. Because of course they fucking are. Then you got fake Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs vetoes bill that would allow police to arrest illegal border crossers. Mind you, this fucking cunt stole a governorship in Arizona and has ties to the fucking Sinaloa cartel, among other things, dude. Why the fuck is she still in power right now? Arrest her fucking ass, cops. You have that ability, sheriffs of Arizona. Go arrest this fucking cunt at the Arizona State House. This one's fucking absolute bullshit, though. Rust Armorer found guilty of involuntary manslaughter only faces up to 18 months in prison. What a fucking joke, dude. What an absolute travesty. That fucking cunt Hannah Gutierrez Reed, along with that piece of shit Alec Baldwin, should be facing the death penalty right now for killing that woman, dude. Because they both had bad, huge fucking implications into her murder, is what it is, dude. Helena Hudgens. Anyway, go into the Robinson story for a minute here. This is the guy stopping right here. This big old black dude. Yes, North Carolina's conservative Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson won the Republican primary to run for governor of the state on Tuesday, and the liberal media is already coming after him. Said if there's one type of person the liberal media hates, it's conservative black people. Robinson will be subjected to ongoing media attacks from now to November. Said in this case, the Huffington Post writer has selectively edited a quote from Robinson during a recent interview. Says media smear merchants come after Mark Robinson gets derailed by the facts in their own video. That's from Red State Reports. Said, as reported earlier, the Democrat/media panic set in immediately Tuesday night, going into Wednesday, in the aftermath of Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson's decisive victory in North Carolina's GOP gubernatorial primary race, with the usual accusations of sexism, homophobia, anti-Semitism, and extremism being thrown with wild abandon. In what should be considered the every evening update to the Post, the media smear merchants are at it once again, and the Huffington Post taking the lead this time around in spreading the latest out-of-context quote and spinning it to mean something it didn't. Says Jennifer Bandery, a senior politics reporterate at the Huffington Post, penned a piece in which she declared that Robinson in 2020 made comments that were conveniently unearthed not even 24 hours after he was declared the victor in that race. So said in a nutshell that he preferred to live in the day where women couldn't vote. Let's see what he actually said there. So it said what the writer posted on Twitter. It said newly unearthed video of North Carolina GOP nominee Mark Robinson 2020. Absolutely want to go back to America where women couldn't vote. So this is what Huffington Post said. Said during an event, Robinson, who was running for lieutenant governor at the time, recalled someone recently asking conservative activist Candace Owens to pick which version of America would make America great again. One where black people were swinging from cheap trees, or one where women weren't allowed to vote. Robinson said he would definitely return to the days in America where women were denied the right to vote, because in those days we had people who fought for real social change, and they were called Republicans. See, and that's what it really was, dude. Makes more sense, actually, on that one. Said Red State gives the full quote. It said, well, the last quote contains part of the story. It doesn't give it all. Said in the sentence immediately after that, Robinson said, and they were called Republicans, and they are the reason why women can vote today. This was the actual, when he said this whole thing here in this YouTube video. I'm not going to show that, though, but because it's not really worth it. We already know what he said there is what it is. So people on the right are coming to Robinson's defense in the video clip. Robinson goes on to say that he's a Republican because of the 19th Amendment. He was clearly trying to credit the GOP for women's suffrage, not saying that the world was better off without women's right to vote. Although, to be fair, I mean, come on, man. Like, you think about who the first person was that they voted into office when they actually got the 19th Amendment in 1919, when they got that right to vote in 1920 then. It was a horrible president, bro. Like, and it has been ever since. Now, granted, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have a right to vote, but what I've actually been saying for years at this point, not more than a decade actually, is there needs to not be voting rights by default in this country, dude. It really should be. You have to pass some, like, and I'm saying it for both voting and for running for office, for that matter. You should have to pass a constitutional test to run for office and to vote, and it should be a certain threshold. And if you don't pass it that go around, tough shit, you can't vote that go around. If you pass it next go around, cool, you're good to vote now. You know, because at that point it would actually make people want to try harder, want to understand the true constitutional republic that we live in this country is what it is. Because the problem right now, when you give all these dumbass 18-year-olds that have been indoctrinated for the past 12 to 14 years of their lives in these college or in these high schools, all the way down to like elementary schools, what it is there, what are they going to do? They're going to push for all the fucking indoctrination garbage they've been fucking force-fed for the last 13 to 14 years of their lives. And in most cases, it's them pushing for abortion. It's exactly why you had all these blue areas in Ohio and then off your election last year enshrine fucking abortion to our state constitution, which, by the way, directly defies the First Amendment, Article 1, Section 1 of the Ohio Constitution for life, liberty, and property. And it's like, how the fuck are you even allowed to be in place, dude, when it directly goes against something that's been on the books for over 200 fucking years in this state? It just blows my mind. And the fact that nobody was going with lawsuits based on that alone is what even more is flabbergasting to me, honestly, dude. And just completely infuriating, honestly, is what it is. Maybe going back to the thing with the Rust Armor here. We got Rust Armor found guilty of voluntary manslaughter, faces up to 18 months of prison. Says Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who actually in this particular shot here, she almost looks like that one actress chick that was in Why the Last Man. God, who's that chick now? I'm trying to think what her name is now. Amber Tamlin, that's who it is. She kind of looks like her in that one. Whereas before there was that video of her like some weird like Joker outfit and stuff where she looked all nuts, dude. Because Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the Rust movie set armorer, was found guilty of voluntary manslaughter by a New Mexico jury on Wednesday. The jury convicted the 26-year-old armorer in the fatal death of choreographer Helena Hudgens, but found her not guilty of evidence tampering. How the fuck is that even? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, people. Come on. Says Gutierrez Reed faces up to 18 months in prison. Her sentencing hearing will be held at a later date. Says per NBC News, says New Mexico grand jury found Rust Armor Hannah Gutierrez Reed guilty of voluntary manslaughter and not evidence tampering with evidence on Wednesday. After deliberating for about 2.5 hours, 26-year-old faces up to 18 months in prison and will be sentenced at a later date. Judge ordered her to be taken into custody and held without her until her sentencing. So she showed little emotion as the jury foreperson read the verdict. She took off a necklace before a deputy took her into custody. Her mother, seated behind her, put her hands on her head and bent forward as a judge ordered her remanded into custody pending sentencing. So January, Alec Ball was indicted by a grand jury on charges of voluntary manslaughter and the fatal shooting of the whole thing. First of all, how is it involuntary manslaughter? It should be first-degree fucking murder, people. This bitch loaded a fucking gun, which, by the way, from my understanding, she wasn't even on set when it was fucking handed off to whoever then. And then that dumbass fucking handed it to dipshit Alec Baldwin, who didn't even call for fucking, let's go ahead and check this. Instead of some dumbass yelling fucking cold gun. And Baldwin, who was the literal fucking director and exec producer and everything else like that in this fucking movie, didn't bother being like, hey, let's do a safety check, people. And literally fucking stand over in the dirt over like that and be like, hey, let's do one of these. And fucking take the gun and be like, click, bang, click, bang, click, bang, click, bang, and make sure there's no bangs, really, is what it was. Or it would just be like, pull the fucking hammer back, click, pull the fucking hammer back, click, while pulling the trigger. Oh shit, there was a bang. Oh my god, fuck us. But guess what? Nobody's hurt now. No, instead they fucking did a bunch of stupid shit and cut corners while you literally had other evidence at that time of all kinds of people being negligent as fuck, and it's why you had like 20 people quit that fucking set like the days before that, dude. Because they had other guns going off and shit in that fucking place. Like, my god, man. I also want to point something out, too, that people may not know about this, honestly, dude. This woman that was murdered here, this Helena Hudgens woman, the next thing that she was going to do after the Rust movie was going to be a documentary exposing pedophiles in Hollywood. That's why she was actually murdered by Alec Baldwin, because she's probably going to out his fucking ass as a child molester, would be my guess. And other sick fucks like him in there. Anyways. Yeah, it's a bunch of shit, dude. So fucking disgusting. Anyway, it says Baldwin shot and killed 42-year-old Hutchinson and injured 48-year-old Joel Souza on the movie set of Rust in Santa Fe, New Mexico in October 2021. So prosecutors requested a second analysis of the gun Baldwin used. Firearms expert Lucien Hung concluded the gun Baldwin used on set had not been modified. Said although Baldwin reportedly denies pulling the trigger, given the test findings and observations reported here, the trigger had to be pulled or depressed significantly to release the fully cocked hammer of the evidence revolver. That guy wrote. It says from the examination of the fired cartridge case and the operational restored evidence revolver, this fatal incident was the consequence of the hammer being manually retracted to its fully rearward and cock position, followed at some point by a pull or forward depression of the trigger. Mind you, this stupid fucking bitch right here, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, there was only ever one other movie that she was like head armorer, or sorry, I think Russ was actually her first head armorer's job, but she was like an assistant armorer or whatever on that movie The Old Way with Nicolas Cage that came out a couple years ago now. And even Cage said, get this fucking bitch off the set. She is completely unprofessional. Because what she was doing was, she had fucking revolvers under her fucking fat ass armpits and was carrying 2 long guns onto set that day. And on top of that, then, decided not saying a damn thing to anybody, started firing off a gun by a horse. Like live firing a fucking gun at that point by a horse without saying, hey, live fire drill or whatever the case be or anything else like that on set there, however they would say it then, you know. Be like shooting or something like that is what it is. Because you wanted to see if the horse would like spook or not. And then on top of that, the little girl in that movie, she was trying to teach her how, she was basically apparently trying to like show her how to like manually operate the lever action she had or whatever it was there. And because I guess there was something in it or whatever then. And instead of like doing it the right way and doing it safely, she was shoving the fucking muzzle of the gun into the ground in the New Mexican dirt and shit like that, dude. Where it could get all kinds of debris and stuff in it and actually cause like a backfire in the damn thing. To where it would be like almost like a squib load and be, you know, blown up in your fucking hand when you shot it and stuff then. So yeah, like she is, and mind you, on top of all that shit, you also have the fact that on the movie set of Rust, the way that they had it set up there, it was not like an actual area they had set up for the armory is what it was. They had what was called a mobile armory, which was basically a fucking panel van full of guns. And mind you, that panel van full of guns should have had one set of keys, and it should have been the person who was the fucking armorer on set had that set of keys with them always. No, you know how many people had sets of keys? Like 9 or 10 fucking people, man. So yeah, completely unprofessional. It was literally a fucking murder waiting to happen, dude. Like, my God, bro. And yet neither one of these fuckers are being tried with first-degree murder or even second-degree murder, for God's sakes. Like, how is it involuntary manslaughter when you're literally pointing a gun at someone and pulling the fucking trigger? It's intentional homicide, bro. Legitimately intentional homicide. From fuckstick anti-gunner Alec Baldwin. Fuck this sack of shit, dude. For real. Fucking sick of it, man. Anyway, that's about it for today, though. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with Corey and maybe somebody else too, for that matter, for Freedom Friday. We'll talk more about probably the Rush shooting during that episode, and then discuss some other things relating to constitutional carry, obviously, and get their opinion on some stuff. Here's what it is then, and then go from there, essentially. But yeah, other than that, though, that's where I'm at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see y'all in the next one. Have a good one, y'all. Stay safe, stay vigilant, always be carrying with one in the chamber, because you never, ever, ever know when things are going to pop off, and you will never have time to rack one into the slide is what it is there. or the rack, the slide to get one of the chambers, what it is there. So yeah, always be ready, always be armed, always be in condition to go is what it is then, man, where all you gotta do is pop a fucking safety off or something like that and then be able to go then. And always be practicing with your guns. Because you never know what's going to happen, and by the time things are all said and done, I think we're going to see food gangs. I think we're going to see food riots this year, honestly. And I think we're definitely going to see illegals start to rob people for food pretty soon is what it'll be. Because if they can't get it from food banks, like they're already doing right now, stealing it from those places, they're going to start stealing it from you at places, man. And they're going to start targeting grocery stores and stuff like that pretty soon, I believe, in the coming months. So, anyway. But, yeah, shit's about to get fucking nuts, dude. Shit's about to get fucking wild. And I think it's only a matter of time before it gets even crazier now. So. But anyway. Sorry, I was trying to look and see if there was anything I wanted to talk about here that was introduced in the last couple of days in Ohio's General Assembly, and there's not. There's not really much they put on here anymore. It was just a couple things from the state senate then to basically deal with the Norfolk Southern crash in the future and stuff like that would be to like have it be like automatic shutdowns and better equipped stuff with what it is there, which apparently that came out this week actually, that shocker, the things that dipshits DeWine and Shapiro actually did by releasing that fucking vinyl chloride gas into the giant plume of smoke there was never needed to be done. There was never any danger of it actually blowing up, according to NTSB reports that came out now. And they could have easily just let it fucking, be siphoned off somehow into like another thing is what it is then. But instead they just fucking toxified the entirety of the state of Ohio and the state of Pennsylvania too, for that matter. So yeah, you just continuing at 2 different states with that, you dumb motherfuckers. A couple years ago now. Or just over a year ago now is what it was actually. So, yeah, just absolutely fucking disgusting, dude. Also, if you check out our Twitter/X page, there's a thing from the Clown World page on that site about a black mother named Mahogany Jackson, and it's specifically about her murder by a bunch of people and stuff like that, and how, of course, this won't be talked about in the mainstream media because, shocker, it is a literal black-on-black torture murder is what it is. So, of course, they're going to, bury that shit as fast as possible and only ever see local media news and then, of course, social media sites is what it is then. So, anyway, but yeah, like, RIP that woman, man. She did not deserve that at all. And I think you're going to see more and more of this even come out. And I've talked about it before with, like, tribalistic warfare and stuff like that. You're going to see people of the same races fighting their own people is what it is there. And that's exactly what it was in her case, man. It was people she thought were her friends just fucking murking her ass out for basically nothing. Just disgusting is what it was, man. Honestly, it really goes back to like third world savagery is what it was. It's basically what Nelson Mandela's wife and people used to do in South Africa, where they would take the, I'm not saying this was happening to this one, but it's close enough, basically. But yeah, in the Mandela case, though, it was they would do a thing called necklacing, which what they would do is they would take a tire, put it around your neck, and I think maybe it was multiple tires. Now I think about it, because I think they put one around like they basically would force you to like put your arms at your side somehow or whatever the case be, and then they would like shove a tire around your body is what it was to like keep you immobilized, basically is what it is there, and then they put another tire around your neck. And then throw some like lighter fluid or like a cup of gas into it, or whatever it was, and then just throw some matches and shit in there, and it would just be Human Torch, basically. Horrible, horrible method, dude. Of a way to kill somebody there. And that being said, like honestly, like maybe that's what we should be doing with some of the pedophiles in this country, honestly, right now, though, dude. Seriously, but yeah, no. Nelson Mandela's wife was a sick bitch entirely, dude, and she was 100% responsible for some of that stuff. And it's exactly what people like Julius Malema love to do now over in that country currently, because they're a bunch of black supremacist pieces of shit in that nation, dude. To where if you step out of line, even as different as another black person there, they would do the same thing they would do to white people over there, man, which is kill you. So, yeah, just absolutely disgusting. And like I said, what's even more disgusting is you don't have anybody but local media discussing that woman's murder is what it is, that Mahogany Jackson woman's death there. Because, of course, it doesn't fit the mainstream narrative is what it is, dude. And that's the problem right now, is that they never talk. Like, now, granted, if it was 8 white people torturing this woman and stuff, you know that shit would be fucking wall-to-wall coverage and there'd be BLM riots everywhere right now, dude. But because it was black on black, it's like, nope, it's all good to go. Fucking disgusting, dude. It really is. Which, again, goes back to something I talked about to begin with in this episode, which is, this is exactly why, if you live in any one of the red states on this map that has constitutional carry now, carry a fucking gun! Because you may have to use it. Self-defense. Seriously, people. We're now 29 permitless carry states in America. Pretty soon we're going to be 30. And then hopefully we'll be 31, 32, etc. down the line is what it is then. So, anywho. That being said, it is getting late. I'm going to go do some stuff and make some food for dinner. And probably watch Matt's stream in a couple hours, so it'll be then. So, I'm assuming Duke is probably live at this point too as well. So I'll be jumping over there and see what he's doing then while I'm making food here in a couple minutes. But yeah, it's fucking crazy, man. It's absolutely fucking nuts what's happening to our society right now. And if you're not going to protect yourself with a firearm in this country, then you're probably going to get killed at some point in the future, is my guess. Because you will be left in that situation very soon against illegals in this country then. So yeah, be armed and ready, man, because shit's about to pop off. And if you're not armed and ready, and you're not willing to protect yourself against violent criminals from other countries, you're not going to survive what's coming. And it's as simple as that, really. So be ready, be armed, be able to protect yourself and your family. It's as simple as that, really. Have a good one, y'all. Later.